The last day of work feels different to everyone. For some, it is a celebration. Colleagues, a cake, a card signed by people you barely spoke to. For others, it is quieter. You hand in your pass, take the lift down, walk through the lobby for the last time, and nobody notices. Ahmad is 64, 31 years as a senior operations manager at a logistics company in Jurong. His CPF retirement account has the full retirement sum, $220,400. He owns his 4-room HDB in Bishan outright. His wife Helen still works part-time as a clinic assistant. By every number, Ahmad looks fine. 6 months later, he is sitting at the void deck at 10 in the morning, drinking his third kopi C, watching the cleaners sweep. He is not bankrupt. He is not sick. He is not lonely in the way people imagine loneliness. He just has no idea what is happening to his money, or his days, or himself. This video is not about accumulation. Every retirement video in Singapore covers accumulation. This one covers what happens the moment accumulation stops and spending begins, financially, psychologically, practically. The part nobody prepares you for, because most content stops at 55. 31 years of salary, gone on a Thursday. Let's talk about what comes next. Ahmad's daughter is getting married in November. He is contributing $40,000 to the wedding. Ceremonies, banquet deposit, ang pao to relatives. He does not regret it. He saved for it. But what he did not do is tell his daughter what his actual finances look like. She assumes he is comfortable. He worked 31 years, owns the flat, has CPF. He assumes she knows he cannot be a financial backstop past his own expenses. Neither assumption has been said out loud, not once. The Manulife Asia Care Survey 2024 found that 60% of Singaporeans with children see them as a financial safety net in retirement. On the other side of the same table, 1 in 3 Singaporeans aged 40 to 59 already provides regular financial support to their elderly parents. Both sides are counting on each other simultaneously, and neither side has confirmed the assumption. This gap between what adult children believe their parents have and what the parents actually have is one of the most consistent patterns in Singaporean retirement failure. Parents do not want to be a burden and so say nothing. Children do not want to pry and so ask nothing. The conversation waits until there is a crisis, a hospitalization, a fall, a sudden care bill. At that point, everyone scrambles. Ahmad's situation is manageable. $1,780 CPF LIFE per month. Helen's $1,200 from part-time work. A spare room, an SRS account. Not fine by accident, but capable of being fine by design if the plan is explicit. Action. Before you retire, sit down with whoever is financially connected to your retirement and write 3 numbers together. Your projected monthly CPF LIFE payout. Your estimated monthly household spending. The gap or surplus between those two. Adult children do not need every detail. They need to know whether there is a gap and what the plan for the gap is. That conversation takes 45 minutes and prevents years of unspoken assumptions compounding in the wrong direction. Month 2. Ahmad wakes at 6:30. His body still sets the alarm, 31 years required. He makes kopi. He reads the news. By 8:15, he has run out of things to do. The Second Wind Movement research published in 2025 found that 20.5% of retirees were completely unprepared for the emotional transition retirement brings. The most common description was not sadness, it was formlessness. Monday feels identical to Saturday. Tuesday is indistinguishable from Thursday. Time becomes structureless in a way that for most people has never happened before in their adult lives. Ahmad's social circle was almost entirely work. Not because he was antisocial, he was not. Work provides a ready-made community. You show up and the community is there. Retirement removes the scaffolding, and rebuilding it takes energy most people drastically underestimate. Here is why this becomes a financial problem. People in Ahmad's situation fill formless time with spending. Longer meals out, more kopitiam visits, impulse purchases at fair price, a trip to JB every second week because there is nothing else on Tuesday. None of it is irresponsible in isolation, but the Singapore Household Expenditure Survey 2023 found that newly retired households consistently overspend their projected budget by 12 to 18% in the first year. Not because of one big purchase, but because unstructured time generates unstructured spending. The Singapore Retirement and Health Study tracked more than 15,000 residents aged 45 to 85 across 10 years. It found that 86% of older adults fared significantly better when they transitioned into partial retirement rather than stopping completely. The structure of work, even minimal structure, anchors well-being, and anchored well-being spends less. Ahmad eventually takes 2 mornings a week at a community center in Bishan. Volunteer work. It is not paid, but it is scheduled. He is expected somewhere at a specific time. By month 3, his kopitiam spending drops by $60. Small, but it is the first month the pattern moves in the right direction. Action. Before your last day of work, identify 2 non-negotiable weekly commitments that require you to leave the house at a specific time and interact with other people. Book them before you retire, not after. The content matters less than the regularity. A mahjong game counts. A morning walk group counts. A part-time community role counts. The research is unambiguous. Scheduled social obligation is the single most effective buffer against both psychological drift and unplanned retirement spending. Here is a fact almost nobody in Singapore knows. As of the 1st of July 2026, the statutory retirement age is 64. CPF LIFE payouts begin at 65. These two numbers are not linked. They have never been linked. The CPF board states this explicitly in their official guidance. CPF payout eligibility age is 65 and is not tied to the retirement age or re-employment age. That means if you retire at 64, which you are legally entitled to do, you have 12 months with zero salary and zero CPF income. Every dollar of spending comes from savings, a remaining OA balance, or a working spouse. Ahmad did not plan for this gap. He assumed retiring and receiving CPF income happened on the same day. They do not. At Ahmad's spending level, approximately $2,000 per month, that 12-month gap costs $24,000 in cash. Not invested, not compounding, spent. Before CPF Life pays a single dollar. He had 3 options he did not know existed. Option 1. Defer retirement by 1 year. Stay in re-employment until 65. Every additional year past 64 increases his CPF Life payout by 7% permanently. At 65 on FRS, he receives $1,780 per month. At 67, the same FRS generates $2,040 per month for life, with no additional top-up required. Option 2. Build a cash bridge deliberately before retiring. 2 years of estimated monthly expenses in an accessible savings account, ring-fence specifically for the gap period. For Ahmad, that target was $48,000. He had the money. He had simply never framed it as a gap fund. Option 3. Cover the gap year from OA savings or SRS withdrawals while CPF Life payouts have not yet begun. Most Singaporeans do none of these. They retire, discover the gap, and draw down cash savings they had mentally assigned to something else. Action. Log into cpf.gov.sg with your SingPass right now. Open the retirement dashboard. You will see your projected CPF Life monthly payout at 65, 67, and 70. The difference between starting at 65 versus deferring to 70 is 35% more income every month for the rest of your life. Ahmad has 12 months to decide. Most people do not look at that number until they are already in the gap. Ahmad's first CPF Life payout arrives in the fourth week of April, $1,780. It lands in his DBS account automatically. He looks at it. Then he looks at his last payslip from March. After CPF deductions, his take-home for most of the past decade was approximately $7,600 per month, $1,780. That is not a rounding error. The Singlife Financial Freedom Index 2024 asked Singaporeans how much they expect to spend in retirement. The median answer was $2,856 per month. The LKY SPP minimum income standard for a single elderly person is $1,379, the absolute floor for basic dignity. The CPF Board's Household Expenditure Survey 2023 puts the median spending of a two-person retired household at $1,940 per month. Ahmad's CPF Life, $1,780. Helen's part-time salary, $1,200. Combined household income, $2,980. Actual spending in month 1, $3,412. Monthly shortfall, $432. Coming from savings, every single month. Where does month 1 actually go? Food and groceries, $800. He eats at the Bishan Hawker Centre most mornings, cheaper than cooking at home, but now eats out for lunch too, because the days are long and meals give structure to empty hours. Utilities and internet, $190. Town council and conservancy charges, $65. Healthcare out of pocket after Medisave, 2 GP visits, blood pressure and cholesterol medication, $140. Transport on MRT and buses, $80. Personal spending, $200. Family obligations in month 1 alone. A contribution toward the November wedding deposit, $200. That last category is the one no retirement calculator in Singapore includes. Over the full year, family obligations, red packets, contributions to relatives' hospitalization, the wedding, Hari Raya spending, total between $4,000 and $9,000. Real money, not in the spreadsheet. The lesson of month 1 is not that Ahmad is overspending. It is that retirement does not cut expenses as much as people project. Commuting costs drop. Work clothing drops. Bought lunches near the office drop. But food, utilities, healthcare, social obligations, and the cost of unstructured time do not drop. Several of them rise. Action. Pull your last 3 months of bank statements. Add up what you actually spent, not what you believe you spent. Subtract commuting costs, work clothing, and office lunches. That number is your real retirement baseline. For most Singaporeans, it is between 15 and 25% higher than their mental estimate. In June, Ahmad receives a letter. His MediShield Life premium renewal. He has paid it from Medisave for years and never looked at the number. He looks now. He is 64. His MediShield Life premium has increased by approximately 22% compared to 2 years ago. This is phase 1 of the restructuring that began on 1st April 2025 and runs through March 2028. A total increase of up to 35% phased evenly across 3 years. The Ministry of Health accepted this because claims volume is rising faster than premium income. His integrated shield plan renewal arrives separately. That has increased too. His IP covers Ward B1 private room stays. He picked it up at 42 when premiums were low. He has barely used it. The premium now costs him more in cash annually than he spent on his last 2 GP visits combined. Combined healthcare out of pocket in year 1. MediShield Life Gap, IP premium paid in cash, 2 GP visits, 1 specialist for his knee, 1 dental appointment, chronic disease medication top-ups, $3,200. Ahmad is relatively healthy at 64. No hospitalization, no procedures. $3,200 in a healthy year. The WTW 2026 Global Medical Trends Survey measured Singapore's medical inflation at 16.9% per year. General CPI in Singapore as of May 2026 is running at approximately 1.4%. Medical costs are rising at 12 times the rate of everything else in this economy. Now here is the number that should stop you. 1 in 2 Singaporeans who reach 65 will become severely disabled at some point in their remaining life. That is the Ministry of Health's own projection. Severely disabled means needing assistance with at least 3 of the 6 activities of daily living: bathing, dressing, feeding, toileting, mobility, transfer. It is not a fringe outcome. It is the median outcome for a Singaporean who lives into their 80s. CareShield Life pays $689 per month if that happens. The actual market cost of professional long-term care in Singapore is $2,952 per month. The gap is $2,263 every month for as long as the disability lasts. Ahmad's wife Helen is 61. If one of them requires long-term care for 5 years, the uncovered cost at today's prices is $135,780. At 16.9% annual medical inflation, the real cost 5 years from now is significantly higher. Ahmad has $79,000 in MediSave, exactly the basic healthcare sum for 2026. That cap is frozen once he turns 65. It does not grow with medical inflation. At 16.9% per year, the real purchasing power of $79,000 in MediSave drops to approximately $33,000 of healthcare coverage within 10 years. He has never checked whether he has a CareShield Life supplement rider from a private insurer. He has not reviewed his IP coverage since 2012. Priya is 58, HR Director in Raffles Place, $9,000 per month. FRS set aside, small investment portfolio. 3 years from retirement by her plan. She has also never reviewed her integrated shield plan. She also does not know whether she has a CareShield Life supplement. She also assumed healthcare was handled. It is not handled by assumption. Action. Log into MOH Health Hub. Click Insurance Summary. Check 3 things. 1. Your current IP coverage ward type. 2. Whether you have a private CareShield Life supplement rider. The government plan pays $689. A supplement can extend that to $2,000 to $3,000 per month. 3. Your MediSave balance versus the basic healthcare sum of $79,000. If you are below it, the matched MediSave scheme introduced in 2026 matches your top-up dollar for dollar up to $1,000 per year. That is a guaranteed 100% return on the first $1,000 you put in. There is no investment in Singapore that offers that. Month 4. Ahmad logs into his CPF dashboard out of mild curiosity. He has $63,000 in his ordinary account, earning 2.5% interest per year. He has no mortgage, he has no top-up system running. The money is just sitting there, growing at 2.5%, while his retirement account earns 4% and his investment alternatives average 7% historically. $63,000 in OA at 2.5% generates $1,575 per year in interest. The same $63,000 topped up into a CPF retirement account earns 4%, $2,520 per year. Over 15 years compounding, the difference between 2.5 and 4% on $63,000 is approximately $31,000 additional dollars, which translates directly into a higher CPF Life monthly payout for the rest of his life. Ahmad's RA is already at the full retirement sum, so he cannot do an OA to RA transfer. But he can make a voluntary cash top-up towards the enhanced retirement sum, $440,800 in 2026. He is currently $64,400 below the ERS. If he tops up $60,000 from accessible savings, his CPF Life monthly payout at 65 increases by approximately $480 per month for life. That is a guaranteed, inflation-adjusted, government-backed annuity paying better than any bank fixed deposit or Singapore savings bond available today. He also has an SRS account opened in 2019 and never touched since. Balance $14,000. Sitting in cash, earning 0.05% per year. $14,000 at 0.05% generates $7 per year. $7. $14,000 invested through his SRS account in VWRA, the Vanguard FTSE All World ETF, Irish domiciled, accessible through DBS Vickers, at 7% average annual return, generates $980 in year 1. Over 10 years, it becomes approximately $27,500. The SRS account also carries a critical tax advantage at withdrawal. Up to $40,000 per year can be withdrawn at a 50% concession rate, meaning only $20,000 is assessed for income tax. Most retirees with modest total income pay zero tax on SRS withdrawals structured this way. 19% of all SRS funds in Singapore sit in cash, earning essentially nothing. Ahmad's 14,000 is part of that statistic. Action. Log in to CPF Dashboard and your SRS account in the same sitting. Write 4 numbers, your OA balance, the gap between your RA balance and the current ERS of $440,800. Your SRS balance, the percentage of your SRS that is in cash versus invested. If your SRS cash percentage is above 0, move it into VWRA or CSPX through your SRS brokerage account within the same week. The $7 per year era ends the day you do that. Ahmad owns his flat. He worked 31 years to pay it off. He is proud of it. It is his biggest financial asset by a significant margin. Current market valuation approximately $510,000. It produces zero income. It costs $230 per month in town council charges, conservancy fees, and minor maintenance. It generates nothing unless Ahmad makes a deliberate decision. This is Singapore's most common retirement pattern: asset rich, cash poor. 95% of HDB owners own their flat outright by retirement age. Almost none of them have a strategy for what that flat does for their retirement finances. Ahmad has 3 options. The first is renting out the spare room. Under HDB rules, owner-occupiers can rent individual bedrooms without the full approval process required for whole unit rental. Ahmad and Helen have had a spare room since their daughter moved out 2 years ago. Current market rate for a furnished room in Bishan, near Bishan MRT, $850 to $1,100 per month. Ahmad lists the room in September. By October, he has a tenant, a 31-year-old working in the biomedical sector, at $950 per month. Their monthly shortfall disappears, not from cutting expenses, from activating an asset they already owned. The second option is the lease buyback scheme. Ahmad can sell the tail end of his flat's 99-year lease back to HDB, retain enough lease to last him and Helen to at least age 95, and receive the proceeds as a CPF retirement account top-up, plus a cash bonus of $15,000 for a 4-room flat. The top-up increases his CPF Life payout permanently. The scheme is legitimate, government-backed, and carries a counselling requirement before approval, so no one enters it without understanding it. Despite this, only 12,656 households across all of Singapore have used it as of June 2024. Not because it is a bad option, because almost nobody knows the number it produces for their specific flat. The third option is downsizing. Sell the 4-room Bishan flat, buy a 3-room in the same or neighboring town, bank the difference. A 4-room to 3-room downsize in the central region currently frees up $80,000 to $160,000 in cash or CPF. The silver housing bonus adds up to $20,000 if proceeds go toward a CPF top-up. Ahmad does not have to choose any of these, but the choice should be deliberate, not the default of doing nothing with the most valuable thing he owns. Action. Go to HDB's website and open the Lease Buyback Scheme Calculator under the Seniors section. It shows you in under 10 minutes exactly how much you would receive, what your retained lease covers, and how much your CPF Life payout would increase. You are not applying, you are learning your number. Then you can decide. March. 1 year since Ahmad's last day of work. His picture looks different from where he started. He applied for the MRSS, the Matched Retirement Savings Scheme. In 2026, 750,000 Singaporeans are eligible. The government matches cash top-ups to your retirement account dollar for dollar, up to $2,000 per year, with a lifetime cap of $20,000. Ahmad topped up $2,000. The government added $2,000. His RA increased by $4,000. His monthly CPF Life payout increased by approximately $30 for life. The room rental is running $950 per month. Their household income is now $3,930 against spending of $3,400. They have a surplus for the first time since he retired. He moved $12,000 of SRS cash into VWRA through DBS Vickers. He is 64. He will not touch it until 70 at the earliest, 7 years. He is not expecting to become wealthy. He is expecting to not lose purchasing power to inflation while the money sits doing nothing. He booked one recurring annual appointment with himself, one Saturday every December. 4 numbers: CPF dashboard payout projection, SRS balance and investment allocation, MediSave balance versus basic healthcare sum, monthly household income versus actual spending. 4 numbers, 1 Saturday, every year. That is the entire system. Ahmad does not retire into the brochure version of retirement. He does not travel to Europe or renovate the flat or take up golf. He eats kopi at the void deck. He volunteers 2 mornings a week. He has dinner with Helen most evenings. He meets an old colleague for lunch at a food court near Bishan MRT once a month. But his money is not quietly disappearing. His days have structure. His daughter knows what the plan is. His healthcare is documented. His flat is working for them instead of just sitting there. And every night he sleeps without the low-grade dread that comes from not knowing. That is what the first year of retirement looks like when you pay attention to it. Let me tell you what happens when you do not. In 2024, Singapore had 87,200 residents aged 65 and above living alone, double the number from 10 years earlier. That figure reaches 122,000 by 2030. 42% of Singaporeans expect to outlive their retirement savings, according to Fidelity's 2025 research. Clinical depression among elderly Singaporeans stands at 4.4%, with another 11.9% in the subsyndromal range, and a decade of government prevention programs has not moved either number. These are not statistics about reckless people. They are statistics about people who planned meticulously for the accumulation, hit their CPF targets, paid off their HDB, checked every box, and then stepped across the retirement line with no plan for what the withdrawal phase actually looks like. Who knew their RA balance to the dollar, but had never calculated their real monthly spending? Who owned their biggest asset for 30 years and never thought strategically about what it was for? A 65-year-old in Singapore today can expect to live another 21.2 years, until 86.2 on average. healthy life expectancy to approximately 73.6, meaning roughly 8 years of full health, then a decade or more of increasing healthcare needs. 1 in 2 will become severely disabled. The gap between what CareShield Life covers and what care actually costs is $2,263 per month. These are not worst-case scenarios. They are the median. The first year of retirement is not the end of financial planning. It is the beginning of a completely different kind. Slower, less urgent feeling, but compounding just as powerfully in whichever direction you point it. Ahmad is 64 years and 12 months old. He is at the void deck with his kopi. He is thinking about the community center's Thursday photography class. He is also thinking about his MRSS top-up in January. He knows the difference between a retirement that works and one that quietly runs out is almost never one large decision. It is 12 months of small ones, most of them taking less than an hour, made before the gap opens rather than after. One of those decisions is probably sitting unchecked in your CPF dashboard right now. Which one is it? If this video was useful, the next one covers how to choose between the CPF Life Standard Plan, Basic Plan, and Escalating Plan, and why picking the wrong one at 65 can cost you between $40,000 and $60,000 over a 20-year retirement. Subscribe so you see it when it comes out.